No, no, no. There it is. It's like, when is Dev gonna die? There you did it.
I'll avenge you, don't worry. Beautiful, disgusting Diablo.
Hello, welcome to Adventure with a Dev. I'm Zavan Hartunian. I'm one of the lead game designers on Diablo 4. And I'm joined today with Bloodshed. We're going to be playing some dungeons.
I decided to go full werewolf with this one. Which build are you playing?
I'll be mixing up a little Bleed and some Hammer of the Ancients, and I've also got Iron Maelstrom.
What dungeon did you pick today?
We're going to be playing through Dragan Barracks, which is a really cool Knights Penitent fortress in Fractured Peaks. What you're seeing here is it's one of the fortresses of the Knights Penitent, which is kind of the military arm of the Cathedral of Light in Fractured Peaks. You can see as we kind of move through this space, we're constantly kind of going indoors and outdoors. Some of this was actually inspired by the Ruins of Sescheron dungeon tile set in Diablo 3. We loved it when we made that. We wanted to try doing something like that again.
You added traps like in Sescheron also?
Yeah, so actually traps we went really big on that in Diablo 4. Most traps have secondary effects that players can take advantage of whenever they find them. Yeah, so right there, there's a trap. They'll get you.
I know.
Speaking of Sescheron, right?
Yeah, the big pendulums is what I remember from Sescheron, and trying to use those to attack enemies for me. What's one of the favorite things that maybe you've helped implement into the game that you're really proud of? Or
we're not in it right now, but one of the first dungeons that we ever built, the first tile sets we ever made, was actually the Crypt. And we were like, okay, well, how do we make sure this feels like Diablo? So what we did is we went and played Diablo 1.
I love Diablo 1.
Played through the Crypt, took a screenshot of what that environment looked like, and then made it in this engine.
That's awesome. So like they took a little bit from every Diablo game.
Yeah, we looked at every single one. Yeah, even the names of some of these monsters, like these are skeletons, right? But even the names of some of these we actually went back to Diablo 1, like what do they call it? But anytime we can inject any of that, original feel, that original tone. I'm surprised we haven't had a friendly. There it is. I was about to say, I'm surprised the ballista hasn't shot us from off screen, and as I said it
did.
Right there. Hi, Corpse Bro.
It'd probably be good to tackle these first, I think. Yeah, get them off the battlefield.
That was like such a transformative monster. It started to really help keep the gameplay spaces distinct. There's a really big difference between a bunch of narrow corridors with walls and a big wide open space if you have a monster like the Corpse Bro who can shoot you if he can see you.
In the beta, is there any end game goal maybe for people to reach?
We're keeping that at level 25, and then obviously they can complete the entirety of Act 1, which is the act that takes place inside Fractured Peaks.
Full story mode, the cutscenes, everything?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Beyond just the main campaign, there's multiple strongholds, there's a bunch of dungeons, there's a bunch of side quests on top of that. Each one of those is a little story. Every dungeon that you play, you're going to be able to get a legendary aspect, over 100 of them in the game. We've tried to fill the dungeons with just a bunch of possibilities. Even if you run the same one over and over again, you're never going to be sure exactly what the layout is, exactly where the monsters are. There's a bunch of other, neat surprises that can happen. Traps is one of those. We have a bunch of random events that can happen anywhere in any dungeon. Treasure goblins, everyone's favorite. Those are back too. But there's also things like this. You can find little tidbits of story that you can kind of listen to as you journey throughout.
As the dungeons go up in difficulty, are there different tiers, different rewards?
All these dungeons that are kind of randomly placed in the game. Every single one of those can become a nightmare dungeon at the end of the day. We actually have just a huge built-in library of endgame content from the get-go. You're going to be able to play all these things, get your aspects early on. As you level, get renown, they'll feed into that too, get even more rewards, and then by the time you hit endgame, you actually have a chance to revisit these dungeons, and when they become nightmare dungeons, they actually pull in dungeon affixes alongside with them.
What's the most affixes you can get in one dungeon?
Oh, that actually, I'm not sure anymore. There's quite a bit. It's not like a one and done deal, right? You start with a couple maybe, but over time that number will increase. Oh, no. There it is. Ah, man.
Now?
We did it. It's like, when is Dev gonna die? There you did it.
I'll avenge you, don't worry.
Remember me.
I'm gonna try to res you without getting hit.
Make it happen.
There we go. Welcome back to the world.
That's actually a very small change we've made. Getting hit one time doesn't immediately break the channel in Diablo 4.
I thought it would, yeah.
That's how it traditionally worked in the past, right? We actually changed that because we played the games too. We're like, okay, that guy barely touched me. That shouldn't break my channel. I'm 99% done. Yeah, don't click that yet.
It's agreed.
Yeah, is it though? Sometimes that's a curse shrine.
Oh, okay.
And you won't know until you click it. Let's, we're gonna roll the dice.
I love that it breaks like if you're like in the zone.
And it won't tell you. It won't say like curse shrine. It's like, that's a greed shrine. I'm gonna click it. Oh, okay. Lucky.
Okay.
We made it. This one's great. Enemies drop gold when hit. So let's go hit a bunch of things.
All right, let's get paid.
There it is. The money build.
And then it might push you, especially if you're playing hardcore, right? It might push you beyond your limits, so to speak, right? Put you in a position that you're like, do I capitalize on this greed shrine, or do I possibly die?
By the way, what I said about cursed shrines also true about healing wells. And then
it could
sometimes it might be a cursed well.
Wow.
Let's
and
see.
then enemies can pop out.
Yep. It actually starts.
You just got me on edge on everything now.
It actually starts an event. Both
if you
of them
break
do.
a door, yeah, you might.
Actually, no. There's no mimic doors or anything.
All right.
Yeah. But actually, funny enough, monsters can open doors in this game.
Really?
Yeah. So if
That's
they can see you, they are like, I mean,
gone are the days
they'll just open a door,
throwing firewalls over the.
And then how funny is this? We got a shrine, a well, and a chest. Sometimes a cursed chest.
So you're like, you don't just click on it. You better be ready.
I'm just saying. We try to keep things kind of interesting. We have a whole crew of people on this team who spend an inordinate amount of time making couch co-op as awesome as we're feeling right now.
Yeah, like we can do everything independently, our skills and abilities. I was like, maybe I do have some upgrades here that I haven't put in now that you mention it. I noticed like you just push one button and jumped right in also.
Very, very seamless. Logging out, logging back in, switching characters. We can do all those things. All right, let's see where we are. All right.
Put some work in.
It's a good sized dungeon there.
You chose this dungeon. Is there any surprises at the end?
I mean, if I tell you.
Oh yeah, okay. That in itself wouldn't be a surprise then. I guess we'll have to see. I was kind of getting that feeling that there was something here. Blood boils. Are they coming out of?
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't a good thing. We should get rid of this thing.
They just keep spawning until you break it?
Yeah, I mean, there's those knights. They left a mess. We gotta clean it up.
Beautiful, disgusting Diablo.
As it should be.
Yeah. So when you're doing like co-op, and one person wants to go to town, do you have to accept it or can?
No, we call it couch justice, right? Like if you want to do something and I don't want you to do it and you do it, I'll just like punch you on the shoulder like that.
Yeah. I noticed earlier, like if I pause it or whatever, the game's not paused, is it? Nope. Yeah. So on the dungeons, did you guys have like a target average playtime for a dungeon? Like if I only had
we actually tried very, very short, like 5-minute dungeons. We built, I think the longest one we tried internally was maybe 30 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
And we kind of figured like, okay, well if we make something kind of reasonably sized, it can always grow. So when you hit nightmare dungeons, things just get harder and they automatically already get slower, so it takes longer to do them. But one of the other things that we did is we made cellars in every zone that you can find, and every single time you go inside one of those, they can have a completely different outcome. There's a whole quest line later on in the game that you can find.
Okay.
That has to do with kind of a major character in the game.
Oh man. Okay.
And it's a side quest.
Is it going to be in
It's a side
beta
quest,
or
to be
like
very- No. This is like well beyond, unfortunately.
Okay.
But point being, it's actually a main character from the campaign that has their own side quest line that you can go and experience, and that quest line takes you through 2 cellars and a dungeon.
Not everybody's just going to do everything now always.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have today.
Why, Zav? Why you gotta do this?
Don't worry, you have open beta coming. Everyone's gonna have a chance. They're gonna kill monsters, get loot. It's gonna be great.
My name's Bloodshed. I guess I'll see you next time.
Yeah, and I'm Zavin Hartunian. Thank you for joining us for Adventure with a Dev, and I'll see you all in hell. Oh, I don't want to say.
You're like, you have to find out
I don't
for
want to say.
yourself.
You gotta find out.
You say campaign or Cam Kane coming back?
Campaign.
Deckard Kane.
Deckard who?
Bye-bye.